Hi people, welcome to Blue UK Jazz Dance. Part of my honours in careers employability from Oxford Brookes University, I was asked to share with people how I developed my leadership skills. Where did I get my leadership skills? And when I thought about where I developed my leadership skills, my self-leadership skills, leadership of others and leadership of organisation, dance was a primary focus. And sports and arts were very important, but dance throughout my life has been the dominant one that gave me opportunities to push the boundaries. You'll hear me say something, talk about my practice that I use DISJ, which is pushing the boundaries of my learning thinking, exploring, forward thinking, progressive learning activities. And dance brought me from, for example, from dancing the whole social dance to avant-garde dance. Yeah, was one of the things that I realised, that avant-garde dance developed my learning in progressive ways. I was in avant-garde projects, experimental dance projects, experimental music, dance, theatre, art projects developed, gave me opportunities to lead. People got that. It's very important for people to have an understanding. And I broke it down into here, and basically it's social, physical, intellectual. At the top you see an acronym: social, physical, intellectual, cultural, yeah, creative, emotional, spiritual. Do you know what I'm saying? So I've been involved in dance, using it for spiritual purposes, involved in dance using it for emotional purposes, developing emotional intelligence, involved in dance using it for creative purposes, involved in dance using it for corporate intellectual purposes, going to college, physical development, social development. And what happened was, it all started, social development has been a powerful one for me, travelling up and down the country. But that played a huge role in developing me as a person. Dance has played a huge role in my community. Dance and music plays a huge role, right? Because one, it's social interaction, body language is like 58%, isn't it? 7% is words, 35% is self-expression and creativity. Do you understand? It comes from dancing. And what happened, that led to me years ago making a core mission statement to promote the positive images of my African and African culture, heritage, arts and its wider uses for communication skills, instilling self, city pride, etc., etc. That's one of my legacies. Was I did that in 1981 and started to promote that and documented evidence of it improving my communication skills, which I'm talking about now. And one of the key things was, irony of my situation was, in 2000 and 2009 I got blood poisoning, sepsis, and I lost my coherency, and I lost my communication ability to communicate in a coherent way, to think in a coherent way, to learn, to develop in a coherent way. So I documented it, and I've been able to document it through technology. But this is what I try to share with people. I'm a visual learner, and for me, when I'm presenting information to others, I learned my style of learning, and I realize it's visual and audio, and I'm presenting it to you today. This is how I'd share with individuals all through my life. And I have it: social, physical, intellectual, cultural, creative, emotional, spiritual. Dance, leadership has played a huge role. Yeah, an amazing role for me. In the country, outside the country, in my home, dance plays a huge role for me now, as it does yesterday. And what happened, I've documented it, because one of the key things was, as an individual, was many people have not seen the dancer's lifestyle, the dancer's culture of dance, my culture of dance. Yeah, which is important for people. I'm Jamaican and Grenadian. UK jazz dance is unique to the UK, and it's unique to every dancer actually, because there was no school. Do you understand? There were the steps. What happened, the dance is interpretive, the dance is improvisational, the dance is freestyle. So what happened, we were introduced to all genres of music, and we just improvised to it. There was no set way that was stipulated to dance to jazz in our houses. We weren't introduced to Lindy Hop. We didn't know rock and roll was Lindy Hop actually. We never knew. I learnt rock and roll by watching it, but I never knew that was Lindy Hop dancing. I never knew that steps are derived from soul dancing was actually jazz dancing. I never know jazz dancing steps were in ska, they were in blue beat. I wasn't aware of these things because no one said it. We never had an educational program we went. So over the years, what happened was, our parents, we just picked up music and improvised, and then music was called, we got to a music called jazz funk. That gave us an indication. We started to think about jazz, then jazz fusion, soul jazz came, we danced, but we weren't dancing in a jazzy way. We were dancing in the spirit of jazz, unaware to that fact. So that's why I talk about the practice, the process, the principles that I use is dancing in the spirit of jazz. And eventually we did start to use the actual principles and practices of the modern jazz musician and the tap dancers, because we started to read about what they did, and we started introducing it not only to our dance lives but to our own lives. So one of the key things, if I talk about dress, vintage jazz dress was not a trend. It was basically a statement of who we were. It showed my independent thinking. It showed that what do I think, what do I love, what do I stand for. Do you know what I'm saying? I stand as a creative human being, as an individual who are very much an advocate of people having liberty and people having liberty and freedom, and that shows through my dress. Because you see, I don't follow the normal trends that are happening as an individual. Do you understand? Right. So what happens? This is important for me to share with individuals because I couldn't articulate it before, and I've just found it today, and I wanted to share with people what did this mean. This gives people an insight into me, that I was showing people that dance played a huge role in benefiting me. What does dance do? I want people to go and look at what dance does, what benefits do people get, what health benefits, what cognition benefits. Go and look up on the web because the information is there. Overwhelming research is there, which is important. But my sort of legacy, I was one of the first individuals to start to talk about that from the age of 8 through a play called The Adventures of the Swing Kid. I talked about how the dance made me feel good about who I was. Dance helped me to escape, to find myself. This is how I was talking, and then later on I found authoritative research to reinforce what I felt, intuitively felt. What dance did. It made me feel good. It gave me high self-esteem. It gave me a positive self-image. Now you find there's research on that, and the number one key thing that's happening now is dance has really come on the table. A lot of people doing research. Blue UK Jazz Dance Out. Take it easy.